Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It is Teacher Paul here, and today we are going to be tackling the next lesson in our free code camp. We're going to be making this Flexbox photo gallery. Flexbox is a way of organizing things on a web page that is responsive, so things can get bigger and smaller depending on what size screen the person is viewing the website on. Let's get straight into it here and we'll start coding and begin with our standard boilerplate. So we have a doc type, a HTML, head, and a body. Okay, that should be second nature to us by now. If you don't remember any of these things, I do recommend that you go back over the earlier videos just to make sure that they're all sticking with you. Really, I think that's a very important step in the process, is making sure that you can remember all of this basic stuff. Especially, it's okay to get a bit confused on some of the more complex stuff, but all of this now, we've written it so many times that we should have no problem whatsoever. So I'm just going to close my body here now as well. Make sure it's all nice and tidy. Let me see here. Am I happy with how my code looks? It looks pretty good. I'm going to add some spacing here. Not necessarily, but not necessary. But there you go. Check our code. I'm happy, she's happy. Step 2. Now inside your head, add a meta and set the name to viewport, and content is width equal device width initial scale 1. So what we're doing now is we're telling the browser what size is the user's screen. So we're going to open a meta tag and we're going to set name equal to viewport. After that, then content equals and width equals device width, comma, initial scale, initial hyphen scale equals scale equals 1. Okay, equals 1. And then we should be able to close our meta tag. And now also add another meta tag, and the char set equals UTF-8. We've done this before. Just to make sure you guys are clear, the first one here tells the browser what size is the user's screen. And this one here tells it what letters we're going to be using. We're going to be using the UTF-8 standard. On step 3, now today is a very short one. We only have 11 steps to go through. Inside your head, add a title and set the text photo gallery and a link to our CSS document. Okay, so title, and we're going to call this one photo gallery. Okay, photo gallery. Make sure we get our capital letters, gallery. Close our title like so. And we also want to link. And we want type equals text/CSS, relationship equals style sheet. I always forget exactly how to do this. href equals styles.css. Type equals relationship equals style sheet. That should be it, I think. I get it right? Yay! I remembered it. It's really important to try and make sure you can remember that, not have to look at it every time. So yes, when we link our styles.css, we need to give it a type, a relationship, and a href. Okay, step 4. Within the body element, create a div with the class set to header. Inside the header element, nest an h1 element with the text CSS Flex Box. Okay, cool. So we're going to say div class equals header. And let's close that div. Not 5, div. Okay. make some space for ourselves here. Inside here, we want a H1 element. H1. It doesn't ask us to give it a class, but we're going to give it some text, which just says CSS Flex Box Photo Gallery. Okay, it's quite a mouthful. There we go. And close our H1. Wonderful. Step 5, below your header element, create a new div with the ID of gallery. Inside that gallery, create 10 image elements. Okay, so below the header element, I'm going to create a new div, and now we're changing its ID. ID equals gallery. And let's close that div. Wonderful. Now we want 10 image elements. We're not doing anything with them yet, but we do just want 10 image elements. So I'm going to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get a bit quicker here. I'm going to copy those 5. Paste. Oh, messed up the formatting. There we go. Check. Wonderful. So we have 10 image elements inside there. You need to give each image a source attribute. You're going to use the format source equals, and then this URL, but you can see here it has the hashtag. We're going to change that to be 1.jpg, 2.jpg, so on and so forth. So source equals, and then we get our inverted commas. And I'm gonna take this, copy, paste. Now this should say 1, right? There we go. So we get our first image. And paste. No, we want to take the whole source. So I'm going to do this 10 times. Copy, paste, paste, paste. So we have 10 images here, but then I need to go and change. So this says 1, now it's just going to say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we should have 10 different images on the page, and it looks like we do, but they're super ugly and super messy right now. So we're going to have to spend some time trying to make them look a little bit better. Great. Step number 7. Normalize your box model by creating a star selector and set box sizing property to border box. We've never used a star selector before. I believe star selector stands for all, but just to see if we are right, let's have a little Google. CSS star selector. CSS star selector selects all elements. So there you go, guys. If you don't know, do your research, right? Try and find out. Don't just blindly write it. Try and find the answer. So we're going to set box sizing. So box sizing, and we're going to set that to border dash box. Check your code and press enter. Okay, so that's our border box sizing done. Let's go on to step number 8. Your images are too big. You will not be able to see your CSS changes. Create a gallery image selector and target your images. Give it a width and set it to 25. Okay. So we're going to go in here and we're going to say gallery image, open our squirrely brackets, set the width to 25%. Okay. And set the height. We want our height to be 300 px. Let's see how it, ooh. So you can see now we've stretched a lot of images out of proportion, right? Some images are stretched to be super tall. It doesn't look good, but okay. We're going to trust the process and we're going to keep going. Now remove the margin from your body element. Set the font to Arial and give it a background color. Okay, so we select our body element and we are going to say margin none, I believe. Okay, and then we're going to say font dash family Arial and background dash color, and that's going to be hashtag EBE7E7. Okay, let's see how we're doing now. Oh, your body selector should have a font family property set to Arial. Oh, see, I've forgotten my capital A there. I think that's what the issue was. Okay, not entirely necessary, but I suppose more correct to have the A. Now align your header text in the center. Oh, very simple stuff here. Header text dash align center and give it a padding of 32 pixels, padding 32 px. Set the background color. We're going to set that to hashtag E0DDDD. Give it a nice, I think, gray color maybe. Yes, it has a slight gray coloring. You might not be able to see it there, but there we go. Lovely. Now, step number 11. Flexbox is a one-dimensional CSS layout approach that focuses on flow of content. It's able to control the way the items are spaced and aligned. Set an element to use Flexbox, give it a display property set to Flex. Create a gallery selector and give it that property. Okay, so inside here we're going to say gallery. And we're going to open that up. And for gallery, we're going to say display Flex. And now you can see that all of my images are set out in a horizontal line. They're going off the page as well. Very interesting. Now Flexbox can have two axes. The main axis is the the main axis and the cross axis. The main axis is determined by flex direction. If flex direction is set to row or row reverse, the axis is horizontal. If it's set to column, the main axis is vertical. So flex direction set to row. Flex direction, I'm going to set it to row. See what does that change. Doesn't seem to change anything there for us. But if I did set that to column, that's going to move everything down like that, you see. Very cool. Okay, so it's a way to very quickly adjust our layout here. You may have noticed your images have moved onto the same row. The flex wrap property determines how your items will behave when the container is too small. Setting this property to wrap will allow your items to move to the next row or column, whereas no wrap will stop you from wrapping. Items might shrink or overflow. So we're going to give it flex wrap property set to wrap, and we should see them take a four column layout. Okay, so flex wrap. I'm going to set that to wrap. And now, yes, because they all have 25% width, they're after they get to the end, they're going to the next row. Now for number 14, justify content determines how all the items inside a Flex container are positioned on the main axis. And we're going to set justify to center. Okay. Justify content and we're going to set that to center. So in case you missed it there, these bottom two images on the bottom, they were over on the left hand side, but once we add back our justify content property, they pop into the middle just like that. Okay, I hope my head is not blocking your view down there. Okay. The align items property positions flex content along the cross axis. In this case, with your flex direction set to row, your cross axis will be vertical. To vertically center your images, give the gallery selector align items set to center. Okay, items center. Align items set center. Okay. And give your gallery a padding of 0.4. Okay. Padding 0.4 px. It's going to give us a little bit of space on the sides. Notice how some of your images are distorted. It's because the images have different aspect ratios. Use object fit to show them properly. So here we can use object-fit and set that to cover. And now our images are going to fill without distorting. Your images need some space to them. So gallery image, give it a margin and padding. Okay, so margin dash, it wants to use margin top. I'm going to set that to 8px. Oh, I forgot my colon. There we go. And we also want some padding. That's going to be set to 0.4px. Gives us some space. A border radius. Yes, let's give some rounded corners. Border radius. And we're going to set that to 10px. Okay, that's looking good. Now, create a media query for screens smaller than 800 pixels in width. So we need to create a media query. And you might notice that they are not telling you exactly how to do that, right? So for a media query, how do we do it? Well, we go back to our old friend Google. We can go W3 Schools here. And inside W3 Schools, let's have a search for media query. And let's see what comes up. Okay, so CSS3 media queries. At media, and then brackets, and then you have your property. Okay, not too bad. So, oh, what have I done here? Let's go back in. Hello. Oh, number 20. So we want to create a media query. So we say at. We did do this before, but it can be easy to forget these things, right? Smaller, so we say max width 800px. Then open that. Inside there, we're going to have a hashtag gallery image and set width to be 50px. So I don't know about you, but it doesn't look good so far. I think I've done something wrong here. Let's have a look. Your gallery image rule should have a width set to, oh, I set it to 50px, 50% lah. So now, yes, you can see we have 4 and now we have 2. 4, 2. As the screen gets smaller, our web page changes. Can't believe I wrote 50 pixels. Now, create one more media query for smaller than 600 and set it to 100%. So we come down here. I'm going to copy my code. And we're going to go smaller than 600. And we're going to set it to 100%, not 1000%, 100%. So now we have 4 columns, 2 columns, and 1 column. So you can see how the web page is changing depending on the size of the screen. And that is going to be it for our Flexbox photo app. Guys, I'll include all the code in my code pen with a link below in the description. I would recommend going over this one a few times just to practice, because Flexbox is a super useful tool inside CSS. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye bye.